Okay, 5:30, June 12th, Thursday. I've been checking my calendar all day to figure out what day it is. But Chiefs avail the day. Royals take on the Yankees, look to avoid getting swept at Kauffman Stadium. But we're going to start with OTAs. Those wrap up tomorrow, so the last voluntary workout of the offseason before mandatory minicamp next week. Chiefs get a little bit of a break and then head to St. Joe for training camp. Gabe, a lot we can talk about from OTAs today. I was at practice. I know you were listening to the press conference. Gardner Minshew taking the podium for the first time in a Chiefs uniform, which was kind of cool. My favorite memory I'll start out with was, or favorite moment, I suppose, was when Minshew was asked about a memory from Week 1 in 2019, which was his NFL debut when Nick Foles went down with a clavicle injury for the Jaguars. That's when Minshew was called up, and he ended up playing pretty well. And someone asked him today if he remembers like a moment with Patrick Mahomes after the game, and he said, he talked to me, and that was more than I expected. That was pretty cool. So that was kind of a fun moment. 6 years later, coming full circle, those guys playing with each other. Minshew has already obviously started in the league, coming in as the Chiefs' third backup in as many years. So, Gabe, maybe takeaways from today's presser with Minshew. I know it was pretty brief, or expectations for the Chiefs' newest backup this season.
I think the expectations for a Chiefs backup is typically just a matter of please make Week 18 interesting.
Sure.
It kind of comes with the job where it's like, hey, we're going to take care of business. We're going to go win the division. Most of the time, we're going to win the division with a week to spare, and we're going to hand you the keys to put some tape on your resume.
Yep.
And I don't think things went well. You know what? Actually, I'll take that back. I think things did go according to plan in Week 18 against the Denver Broncos this past season, and things were so bland that it was okay with everyone for the most part, except for maybe Carson Wentz, who was probably a little frustrated by.
And the Bengals.
Exactly.
The entire city of Cincinnati was on fire.
Yeah. So there's that. Hopefully he gets a chance to play in Week 18 in a game that is meaningless to most Chiefs fans. And otherwise doesn't see the field in any regular season action. That's pretty much the barometer for success. Make the preseason worth watching. I know Carson Wentz at least was successful in doing that last year of giving us some highlight reel plays of Xavier Worthy's first touchdown at Arrowhead during the preseason against the Lions. There's things like that. But it's just, I think that the most notable football thing of Gardner Minshew that we heard today was him just being between himself, Mahomes, Bailey Zappi, some of these other guys in the quarterback room, there's a lot of guys who had air raid backgrounds in college of Zappi at Western Kentucky, Mahomes at Texas Tech, Gardner Minshew at Washington State with Mike Leach, who obviously has the Texas Tech ties. And he was like, yeah, there's certain plays or there's certain concepts in an Andy Reid offense that obviously we know how West Coast oriented that is, but they've modernized and brought in several concepts that Mahomes was familiar with from his collegiate days, and they're able to be like, oh, well, in the air raid offense, it would be this. And so I think that in that regard, it's pretty similar, or I guess helpful for Gardner Minshew adapting to the Chiefs organization. And I also thought it was cool that he noted that he felt like in his pre-draft or post-collegiate process, he met with the Chiefs and he felt like he had a pretty good meeting. And not that the Chiefs were exactly in the market for a quarterback that year, because they had invested in Mahomes and they didn't necessarily need another young quarterback to develop under, but kind of for full circle that he's had his chance to go through the league, play with the Jaguars, play with the Colts, play with the Raiders, bounce around the league and go to a Super Bowl with the Eagles and lose to the Chiefs. And now he's in Kansas City, and now he gets a chance to pursue a ring with the Chiefs.
Yeah. Other takeaways from today, kind of pointless at this point to take real attendance. We're only at one workout per week. They had 4 this week, 3 the last 2. Tried Travis Kelce wasn't there. He has been there over the last couple of weeks. Chris Jones was there today. Really the only Gabe, I think, like if you could call it a quote-unquote headline of not being there would be Trey Smith, just because there are those ongoing contract negotiations. Andy Reid was asked today if he expects him to be at mandatory minicamp, and he just kind of gave a non-committal, I don't really know. So we'll find out next week. Be interesting as it goes on here. But Gabe, any other takeaways as we wrap up maybe the dullest portion of the offseason tomorrow?
I don't think so, other than the only other soundbite I heard today that was particularly of note, at least in my opinion, was Kingsley talking about falling in love with playing guard.
Yeah.
And so I guess
that's
talking about what happened in Week 18 in Denver last year, Kingsley did get reps at guard, and he said that he started to enjoy the process of playing that position that week, and then kind of come to terms with it this offseason, which I think is a good thing, that he has turned the page from, hey, I'm going to be the future at left tackle, to
that's over.
Hey, I can be the future at left guard.
Yeah.
And now hopefully he can pursue that and do it well for this team.
Yeah, I think it was last week or the week prior where Andy Reid started saying one of the only good things to come out of the Denver game, and then he corrected himself and says the only good thing that came out of the Denver game was that Kingsley Suamaitea got some reps at guard and looked pretty good against one of the best, defensive linemen in the league. And yeah, interesting today, him saying he started falling in love with that position, and kind of described it as like a fresh start. Kind of a brutal start for a rookie to, rookies aren't expected to start, especially in the trenches, but he got that opportunity, and to have the rug pulled because he performed so badly on such a big stage. It had to be tough. I mean, these guys see the discourse online and those kind of things, and to go from, it's like the high school to college jump, except for times 1,000, to go from the college to the NFL, where you're the best player on your team in college, and now you're, up in the big leagues. And it was kind of a rough rookie campaign for Kingsley, but yeah, certainly a new opportunity this season, and I'm sure we'll be talking about the new left tackle battle for weeks to come.
Yep.
But less than 2 months until the Chiefs' first preseason game, August 9th in Arizona, and little under 3 months until the season opener in Brazil, which is wild. Okay, Gabe, you and I were both at game 1, Yankees-Royals, which was like the most electric atmosphere of a non-opening day regular season game I think you could ask for, with Caglione making his debut. Patrick Mahomes was in the house. Noah Cameron, the St. Joe native, was getting the start, and you had the Yankees in town. Tough couple of days. Yesterday's score made it look a little bit closer than it was. It was 6-0 for most of the game. Royals come back and score 3 in the bottom of the 9th, but can't complete the rally. Do you think these last couple of days have any reflection on where the Royals are at right now, or do you just attribute this to the Yankees being the Yankees and Aaron Judge having an absolutely ridiculous year?
I think it's both. I think it's
Sure.
that the Yankees are really good. The Yankees lineup is extremely deep, and they do something that we saw gave the Royals trouble in the playoffs and gave them trouble again this week. I don't think that it necessarily was as big of an issue when they played them in New York the first time this year in April. I think that was more about the fact that the Royals offense just didn't show up for that series, and that they asked the pitching staff, both the starting rotation and the bullpen, to be way too perfect in that series. But in this series, it's been more about the Yankees not chasing, the Yankees running up pitch counts. Noah Cameron got over 100 pitches to go through 5 innings. Chris Bubich threw 41 pitches in the second inning last night to give up 5 runs, which ballooned his ERA from like a 1.4 to I think low 2s for a decent portion of the night. So I think that their selectiveness as hitters is something that the Royals pitching staff has struggled with in comparison, I guess, to the rest of the league, where it feels like, for the most part, the Royals pitching staff is dictating control of pitching counts and kind of being able to work through things the way they want to. And the issue is even magnified when you score 2 runs on Tuesday night and 3 runs last night, and the 3 runs last night didn't come until the 9th inning. And so at this point, you can say that it just comes down to like Aaron Judge is playing like the MVP, and yes, that is the case.
So what you wrote up the article that was
it was the 6th longest home run
was
in the tracked the asterisk being the tracked era, the StatCast era of Kauffman Stadium, so 2011 to now. That's 15 years of data.
Moment. Sure.
Yeah. But when it was hit, I was thinking, I've never seen a ball hit further in Kauffman Stadium. And so I went through the StatCast data, and I was like, I wonder, like, how many of these home runs have I been in the building for or whatever? Because I can remember a home run from back in 2013, 2014, Mike Trout hit that went over the center field batter's eye.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently was not hit further than the one that Aaron Judge hit on Tuesday night. So that was remarkable. And I thought when it bounced off of the top of the Royals Hall of Fame, I was thinking, it's gonna get into the Pasquatch's lair.
Yeah,
it was back
funny.
there.
I didn't
so
even think about that. That would have been. Now I want to go back and watch it and see how close it was.
It was very close.
Hidden, was
it was very close.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, probably the most exciting moment of the season for Pasquatch. For folks that don't know, we did a little behind the scenes story of what he does all day, and the answer is a lot of sitting and waiting for Vinny Pasquantino to get on base. Speaking of, before we wrap our Royals, I guess our 2025 Royals talk, Vinny Pasquantino, AL Player of the Week last week. I feel like that headline's kind of been buried with Caglione and, the Yankees in town, the celebrities that have been at Kauffman Stadium. But Gabe, how impressed have you been with Vinny, and how related do you think it is to the story we did on Vinny and then him immediately turning around and having a 10-game hit streak?
You have to take the credit for it.
I just did.
You can do that. Career long 26-game on base streak. I think last night he got on.
It's been a
several
lot
times
of work for the Pasquatch this season. Yeah.
But he started extremely slow at the start of the season, and he has since I think the start of May been one of the best hitters in baseball. His batting average is well over 300. His on-base percentage is way up. And if that continues throughout the year, they're going to need that, because if you couple that with Michael Garcia doing what he's done and Bobby Witt Jr., if he can get hot with the summer months going, that's the way that they're going to have to, because what we've seen this week, whether it's been Noah Cameron, he said on Tuesday night post-game in the locker room that he felt like it was the best stuff that he had all season long, but the results weren't as good because he gave up the 2-run home run to Judge, the 3-run home run to Austin Wells. So I'm not necessarily worried about Noah Cameron, but that happens. Chris Bubich gives up 5 runs. So 2 of the guys who have been dicing up the rest of the league have some troubles. Maybe they pitch a little, not to the extreme best outcome,
historical,
that they're going. And then you have Cole Reagan's going back on the injured list, this time with a shoulder injury, so that could be a little bit of a longer term deal for someone who's dealt with a lot of injury. If all of that happens and the pitching staff is no longer one of the best or the 2 or third best rotations in baseball, then the onus is on the Royals offense to actually deliver some runs and to keep them in games. I think that's been the biggest issue, is that not necessarily that they've not gotten runs or they've not gotten guys on base. They're getting plenty of hits. They're top 7, top 8 in baseball in terms of hits. They're just not turning those into runs. And Quatrero talked about that Tuesday night. We are getting hits. We're not getting enough big hits, and we're not getting, when we are hitting home runs, it's typically either a solo home run or occasionally a 2-run home run, but we're never, when we're getting 1 and 2 guys on base, we're not clearing the bases very often. Hopefully that changes. I do think that for as much as we talked last week about Caglione coming up and talked to Caglione earlier this week, his at-bats are getting better.
Yeah.
And he is still getting some hits, and he's gotten on base each night at Kauffman. Couple that with a really good Sunday in Chicago, and things are looking good. I'm going to be out there tomorrow night and Saturday, so I'm hoping that I see his first home run if it doesn't come tonight.
I was going to say, so you're hoping he doesn't hit one?
No,
tonight.
I would love to see him hit. I would love to see him hit one tonight, but
yeah.
If he's not going to do that, let's get it done this weekend against the Athletics.
Weekend.
And tonight, I think, is a big opportunity for the Royals, because the Yankees decided to not put Aaron Judge in the lineup. Yeah. So that is a little bit of a breather. I'm sure Seth Lugo loved seeing that when the lineup came out today.
Especially after watching, what his teammates had to endure the last 2 weeks or 2 days. Okay, kind of a good segue, Gabe. You said you were going to be at tomorrow's game. Alex Gordon being inducted into the Hall of Fame during pregame. Don't know if we'll hear from him yet, but Should be pretty cool. And this, of course, on the heels of the 1985 celebration, the 2015 celebration, Mike Moustakas retiring as a Royal couple Saturdays ago. Is this part of why you're going to the game, to see that moment, or is it just a beautiful Friday?
Yes, certain. That's part of it. I think that it's going to be one of the. I would think it'll be probably a bigger crowd even than Tuesday night was, because I think Tuesday night we had 30,000. 17 was the official total, and maybe that came in a little lesser than we anticipated given the hype and circumstances around it. But for a Tuesday night, yes, it's still really good. I think given what Alex Gordon meant to Kansas City, what he meant to the organization, the rarity of a Hall of Fame ceremony for the Royals, and all of that, coupled with old Friday night fireworks and all those kinds of things, I think it'll be one of the better turnouts of the summer, and I'm excited to see Gordon. It's just anybody associated with those 2014, 2015 teams. Every single time that they're back, exactly.
Memory.
It just, people are excited to celebrate
back
them.
To that time,
yeah,
because you can go up to anyone and they'll share their favorite memory or exactly where they were. Talking about Moose diving into the whatever first row.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's end with a favorite Alex Gordon memory before we wrap her
up. I think I was there for one of the walk-off home runs that he hit at Kauffman, and I think that.
Oh, really?
I didn't get a chance to go to Kauffman for any of the playoff games during the 14 or 15 runs, so all of those memories are exclusively staying up late at night because they played the Angels late in the playoffs. And
where'd you watch those? I know those are I remember exactly where I was kind of memories.
Pretty much all exclusively at home.
Okay.
So nothing necessarily different.
Sure.
I think I was a freshman in high school for the 14 and sophomore in high school for the 15 years. So just watching in my basement the Royals pulling off crazy playoff runs. So that would be it. But I just think what we took for granted, and I guess as we've kind of followed this Jack Caglione conversation of, how hard is it to learn to play outfield as a infielder? Alex Gordon made that transition and then became one of, if not the best defenders in all of baseball. And I think that is probably the thing that I'll remember him for most, is running into the fence, diving into the left center field grass to make crazy catches, or running into the corner where it seems like opposing defenders always come in and they misplay balls and it turns doubles into triples, and he would make the play and do the right thing, and we took that for granted. And now you see them trying to teach Jonathan India how to play left field. They try to teach Michael Massey how to play left field. All these different guys. Now Cags is the next one. Almost makes you think that hey, we should get Alex Gordon out there and do a little tutorial and get. I know that they're all working with Rusty Kuntz, but there's just a chance that they gotta maybe bring Alex Gordon in and give a little tutelage.
Maybe he comes out of retirement. We'll find out tomorrow. But Gabe, for now, that'll do it. A's at the K tomorrow, and on KCTV5 on Sunday. So 1:10 on Sunday, KCTV5 and KSMO. One of many games we're airing this season. KCTV5.com/Royals for that full list. But that'll do it for us today. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.